What's up, guys? Welcome to another Brokowskis YouTube video. Today we got waiver wire talk. Should you pick up these players? Should you not pick them up? What we think about them. Before we get into it, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We're going to try for 100 likes. That would be awesome. Let's get right into it. Okay, starting out with running backs. Sony Michel, owned in 34.4% of NFL leagues right now. What are your thoughts on him?
I actually like him a little bit. He did perform super well. He got over 20 points. And yes, people argue this only is because Henderson's out, and they are right. He got 24 carries. He got 4 catches. But I think he could be used in this offense. Henderson's injured. He's always dealt with injury concerns in his career. I think it could be a 50, not a 50-50 split, but I think Sony could get more carries, and I think he maybe could be worth a pickup.
I think he's worth a pickup. I don't know if I would sell everything for him because I think Henderson is healthy. He should play this week. If you have Henderson, make sure you pick him up. You need him on your team. Otherwise, I would want to pick him up, but I'm not dying to pick him up. Next up, we got Adrian Peterson.
I would not touch Adrian Peterson. How many points did he had? He had 7.6 points, and he had a touchdown. Take away that touchdown, which you can't do, but still, take it away. He has 1.6 points. Don't touch AP. There's just too many running backs in the Seattle backfield.
Yeah, I think he had more carries this week because Alex Collins was not playing. He also had 0 targets, and like you said, 1 touchdown with 7.6 points. Pretty bad. I would stay away. I would not pick up Adrian Peterson. Next up, we got Foreman. We talked about him last week. Still only owned in 36.7% of leagues. Has a good matchup this week against Jacksonville. What are your thoughts on him?
I like him. He got 19 carries against the Patriots. There is Hilliard there. There is McNichols who are going to be taking the catches. He's not going to be getting any receptions, but he does get good rushing work. He has good yards. He's pretty efficient. I like Foreman a little bit.
Yeah, I would for sure pick up Foreman. I think he's worth a pickup. I think he is the main guy there in Tennessee. I'm not that scared of Hilliard. Hilliard, yes, he has more points, but he did just break out that long run against the Patriots, which put him over the top. Foreman gets more rushes. Hilliard, again, did not even get a ton of targets. I like Foreman the most out of that group. I would pick him up. And our last running back, he's probably not available for you guys, but if for some reason Chuba Hubbard is available, pick him up. I think you'd agree with that.
Yeah, you need to get him. I don't know why he's only owned in 63% of leagues.
Yeah.
CMC's out. They don't have good matchups, but just pick up Chuba if he's available.
Yeah, he's going to have a running back with opportunities, and some teams need that at this point of the year. Moving on to quarterbacks. We got 2 quarterbacks here. First up, Taysom Hill. What are your thoughts on him?
Taysom Hill is a must pickup. He got 20 fantasy points through 4 interceptions, and he's versing the Jets this week. The Jets cannot stop running backs, and Taysom Hill is basically a running back at QB. He's going to get a rushing touchdown this week at minimum. I think he's going to get minimum 20 fantasy points. You need to pick up Taysom Hill.
I totally agree. Taysom is a must pick up. The matchup is awesome. The only thing that could slow him down is that finger injury that he sustained against the Cowboys. As long as he plays, I think Taysom Hill is a must pick up, must start. Yeah, you need him on your team. Moving on, this is what we said last week. Cam Newton was owned in over 60% of leagues. We were predicting some people might be panicking, they might drop him, all the way down to 38% right now. What are your thoughts on Cam Newton?
I still like Taysom Hill better, but I still think Cam Newton's decently solid. He had a terrible, atrocious game against Miami and still got 6 fantasy points, which is nothing, but he played so bad that rushing touchdown still put him over 0. He got 26 against Washington. I think he's solid. I think you need to grab him.
I totally agree. Taysom Hill is definitely better, but I still love Cam Newton. Like we were saying last week, if you could pick up Cam Newton for that matchup week 14 if you need a quarterback, amazing matchup. Atlanta's 31st against quarterbacks. Love that a lot. I would pick up Cam Newton. If you need a quarterback, he should be a good start this week. Now moving on to receivers. First up, we got Aman-ra St. What are your thoughts on him?
I like Aman-ra a little bit. He got a good amount of targets. Pull up those target stats there. He got 12 targets, 10 catches. He did get a game-winning touchdown, 24 fantasy points. This obviously isn't going to continue because this Lions offense is just terrible. But I still think he's the wide receiver 1 of that offense. He's a solid player. I like him.
Yeah, I agree. I would pick up Aman-ra. I think he's definitely solid. I was pretty excited about him coming into the year. He's been disappointing so far, but he finally had that breakout game. 24.8 points, like you said, 12 targets, 10 catches, 86 yards, and a touchdown. I like Aman-ra. I wouldn't drop a good player for him, but if you have a player that's not needed on your bench, I like Aman-ra going forward a little bit. Next up, we got Russell Gage. What are your thoughts on him?
I think I like Russell Gage the best out of all these batch. Maybe Taysom Hill, number 2 Russell Gage, though. He's got 12 targets, then 7 targets, then 8 targets. He's being used in this offense as that wide receiver 1. He's getting more targets than Patterson, which Patterson is a running back wide receiver, but everyone sees him as like the wide receiver 1. Russell Gage is the wide receiver 1 of this offense. 130 yards last week, puts up like 24 fantasy points. I love Russell Gage.
Yeah, I agree. I think he is the number 1 receiver waiver wire pickup this week. 12 targets, 7 targets, 8 targets the last 3 games. He's been averaging, I believe it was 16 points over the last 3 games. He has been solid. He's put it together for multiple weeks. If you can, I would pick up Russell Gage, especially if you need a receiver this week. He's pretty solid. Next up, we got Jalen Guyton, only rostered in 0.4% of leagues. What are your thoughts on him?
I would only pick up Guyton if you're in a deep league or you maybe need to start this week. Keenan Allen has COVID, so he might play, he might not. If he doesn't play, Guyton could get a bit more targets than normal, could get a bit more points. He got almost 19 points last week, but he did only get 4 targets. He did get that deep catch that saved his week. So I would say Guyton's only, going forward, he has no value, but maybe this week with a good matchup against the Giants, I like him a little bit.
I would for sure like the other 2 receivers more. Again, if you need a start and Keenan's not playing, you could look for him. I would probably just leave him though. He, over the last few games, yes, he had 19 points last week, but other than that, his season high, looking at it right now, was 8 in week 1. He is not that good for fantasy. I would probably leave him unless you're super desperate and Keenan doesn't play. Next up, we got Jakeem Grant of the Bears. I'm just going to say right now, I probably wouldn't pick him up. He had 17 points, 7 targets. I'll probably leave him. What about you?
Yeah, Justin Fields is coming back probably this week. Andy Dalton is better for the Bears offense. He's still not good, but he is better. I wouldn't pick up Grant like Kai said. I don't love him. He might get a couple targets, but Justin Fields really does hurt this offense. I would not touch Grant.
Yeah, don't pick him up. And last up, we got K.J. Osborne of the Vikings, rostered in 6.2% of the leagues. I'm going to say it right now. I kind of like him, especially with Adam Thielen. He's probably going to miss some weeks. This guy is going to be the clear number 2. He did get 7 targets, 14.7 points, 47 yards and a touchdown last week. He did have some good games earlier in the year. Week 6, 20 points. Week 2, 20 points. Week 1, 14.6 points. He has that upside, especially with Thielen gone. I think he could be a decent play. Pittsburgh is 24th against receivers, so it's a decent matchup that way too. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, K.J. Osborne is not a scrub. He has games with 7 targets earlier in the year, 9 targets. He is using this offense, and with Thielen out, he is going to get more playing time. So, you know what? I consider Osborne if you need a wide receiver. And boys, thanks so much for watching. If you made it to the end, make sure you hit that subscribe. We're coming out with starts and sits every week. We're telling you waivers to pick up. Also, comment this keyword right here for a like and reply to your comment. Boys, please like the video. It helps us out a lot. And see y'all later.